Yo, what is good, YouTube? In today's video, I'm gonna give you guys my top 5 meta loadouts you guys need to be using. So with that being said, let's hop into the setups. For first gun here today, we're gonna be using the GPR91. And by the way, I'm not really sure why the attachment slots and everything look like this. I had a gunfighter build, and for whatever reason, I switched something out, and now they all look like that. With that being said, the first attachment is the Jason Armory 2X. I think this is a wonderful sight for this gun. You could also use the Willis 3 times, or even go down here for the Kepler Red Dot. Pretty much any of these three are going to be great. Next up, we're going to go to the compensator for the muzzle category. This is going to help us out tremendously with our overall vertical recoil control. This gun's really going to be pretty much a laser beam, to be honest with you guys. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. If you're not using the XM4, you're probably going to be using the GPR, so this is going to be a great build. Next up in the barrel section, we're going to throw on that reinforced barrel. This gives us that increase to our damage range and bullet velocity. When you are creating an assault rifle build in Warzone, the last thing you want to do is only increase your bullet velocity or only increase your damage range. You want to do both at the same time, and that's why the reinforced barrel is 9 times out of 10 the barrel you should be choosing. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that on there and call it a day. Now in the underbarrel section, we're gonna go throw on that vertical foregrip, and what this does is helps us out their horizontal recoil to the absolute max we possibly can get, because we don't have the ability to have on something like the buffer weight stock like we have for the XM4. This is pretty much going to do the exact trick we need it to, and honestly, this gun is going to feel very, very easy to use. It's pretty much one of the easiest to use guns in the entire game. And lastly, for our magazine, we're going to go throw on extended mag 2, which boosts us up to 60 rounds in our mag, which is of course something I like, being a 60 round mag kind of guy. I'd much prefer to use the extended mag 2 versus extended mag 1. This only gives me 45, which I don't feel like is nearly enough. Even though it does come with the variant that I have on, I don't really think that's going to be enough. You need these 60 for it to be truly effective. And with that being said, that's my full GPR build. Next up is going to be one of the fastest TTK SMGs in Warzone. That's going to be the compact. So this right here is really, really solid up for close range. Out from that, the Jackal and some of the other SMGs will win because they're just easier to use. But at close range firepower, nothing's really going to beat out the compact. So our first attachment is going to be the compensator. You definitely need this. This thing has got one of the fastest fire rates in the entire game, and you can definitely feel it if you don't have the right attachments, because this will still kick. You need to control it. Now in the barrel section, we're going to go throw on the long barrel. What this does is just increase our overall damage range. With SMGs, we're not too concerned with increasing our overall bullet velocity, just because the range in which you use them, it is almost largely hit scan. So we're not too concerned with making our shots register faster, and especially with this gun having a crazy fire rate, we just want to make sure that we get that damage range out farther so that we can truly be more effective at that closer range than we would be otherwise. Now in the underbarrel section, we're going to throw on that Ranger foregrip, and what this does is just horizontal recoil control and sprinting movement speed. This is hugely beneficial when you're trying to get away from somebody, just kind of bob and weave around. It's like your mobile gun on your loadout, so we're trying to help us overall with the recoil and make sure that we can still get away and move around as fast as possible. Now in the magazine, we're gonna go throw on extended mag 2. This boosts us up to 50 rounds in the mag. I think this is really nice. I don't really think you need extended mag 3, as nice as it is to have 60 rounds in this mag on a gun that's got one of the fastest fire rates in the game. I think truthfully, the 50 round mag here, extended mag 2, is going to be the move. Last but definitely not least, we're throwing on the commando grip, and what this does is just helps with our ADS speed and sprint to fire. You could definitely go switch this out for something like the ergonomic if you really want to, but overall the commando and the ergonomic are probably going to be your best bets. And with that being said, that is my full compact 92 build. Now let's hop in here to a zero recoil AR, which is going to be the Model L. This is a really solid gun I don't see too many people using, so let's give you the ideal build here for it. First thing is going to be that Kepler Red Dot. I really enjoy this. A nice 1.25 times magnification. I think this is great. You could always go down here if you want to run something a little bit more so, like the Jason Armory 2X for a bigger magnification or more magnification, or the Willis 3 times. You really can't go wrong with that. So pretty much any of those three are going to be great. In the muzzle section, much like the GPR, we have on the compensator to help with our overall vertical recoil control. This does really, really help out, and I'd suggest for you guys to go ahead and use this exclusively on the Model L. Now in the barrel section, this one is a little bit interesting because we're going to be using the Gain twist barrel. The Model L has a really nice damage range by default. We don't have to extend it out much. What we're really trying to do is just maximize out our bullet velocity, and this is going to be an incredible build right here when you use the Gain twist barrel. You don't need the long barrel, the reinforced. We just need that Gain twist to make it so that our shots hit faster, as our damage range is already perfectly fine. So we might as well just make sure our shots hit faster. In the underbarrel section, we're throwing on the vertical foregrip. This does the absolute most we can possibly get for horizontal recoil control. This gives us a nice little 3 green arrows, which I like quite a bit. This gun is gonna pretty much not move, especially since the visual recoil removal update. It's not even like a reduction, it's like removal. I'm not exactly sure how they, elaborated on that, but pretty much ever since that update, you really don't have any recoil on this thing, so you don't really need to worry about much. And then lastly, in the magazine section, we have on extended mag 2, just because this gives us the maximum ammo we can carry in this thing, which unfortunately isn't 60 rounds in the mag. I'd prefer it to be 60, but overall 50 is still perfectly acceptable, especially given that the fire rate of this gun is nothing crazy. But overall, this is my full build here for the Model L. Next up, for an SMG, we're going to be using the SOG. This is a really criminally underrated SMG that I think a lot of people need to be using. So first thing on here is going to be the compensator, and we're going to just use this for overall recoil control. If you don't have this, this gun will bounce around a little bit, and we want to make sure it's actually controllable and usable. So the compensator will help with that. Next up, we're throwing on that long barrel as per usual for our BO6 SMGs. Like I said, just got to extend out their overall damage range. It makes a large difference when you are actually trying to be effective at close range. We don't need that damage drop off hitting too fast. We want to extend it out a little bit farther. Now in the underbarrel section, we have on the Ranger foregrip, much like we did for the compact, which is horizontal recoil and sprinting movement speed. It does exactly what you need it to, makes you faster and helps you control the gun. In the magazine section, we have on extended mag 2, which gives us 55 rounds in the mag. I find this to be quite nice because this gun has a decently high fire rate. We don't want to blow through our ammo too fast. 45 rounds might not be actually that bad of an addition either, considering you do get a little bit slower by having this magazine on there. But overall, I have found better success running extended mag 2, considering I exclusively play quads, which is, pretty much I assume what majority of people are playing, unless you're on a big map playing solos or something else like that and you're playing smaller game modes. But for the majority of people, they're playing trios, quads, etc. So 55 is going to do you more favors. And lastly, for this gun, we're going to go throw on that commando grip, which also can be substituted out for the ergonomic. This is just one of those guns where I've experimented around to kind of see what works best for me, and the ergonomic or commando both do relatively about the same. It's not too much of a difference. I'd say the commando has been my more favorite thing to run, and with that being said, that is my full SOG build. Lastly, in this top 5, we're going to give you guys a sniper rifle build, which is going to be for the Kar 98. I'm sure everybody and their mom's got that leveled up, so that'll be really nice. In case you don't happen to have one of the BO6 snipers or something like that, first attachment in here is going to be all the way at the very bottom. It's the Range Caller V3.4 optic. I really wish they'd have this whole thing organized here, considering some of the other scopes are just God knows where in this 40+ attachment category or 66 attachment category. So you'd really have to go scour through that. But basically, this is at the very bottom here, and this is the 7x magnification. It is the OG Kar 98K scope. My preference, I like it. I think it's the best. So this is what I recommend. If you don't want to run that, run the SPX 6.6X. I'm just not going to go through 66 scope attachments to find it. Now in the muzzle section, this one's a little bit up for debate ever since they introduced, the BO6 weaponry. They have messed quite a bit with the attachments on the MW3 guns, and one of the ones that got messed with was the suppressors. We pretty much would go for the Sonic Suppressor L because it did the absolute most and gave you the most damage range, but they kind of consolidated things and really evened out some of these attachments. So the VT7 does the exact same thing as the Sonic Suppressor, so it really doesn't inherently matter if you want the look of one versus the other. It's not going to do anything different. You can back out to where you can see all the attachments, and you can hit your right trigger to see the detailed statistics. You're not going to lose extra damage range or bullet velocity by having one or the other, so it's up to you. Now, something that was not up for debate or up for a visual debate, and what's going to be fine, we have to use this specific barrel, the 7.62 long barrel, in order for this gun to be truly effective at longer distances. They've already had to nerf the range on this thing a few times because it was the only sniper rifle people used. I mean, well, rightly so, because all the other ones sucked, and this one actually got one-shot headshots. But thankfully, every sniper rifle can get one-shot headshots up to its effective damage range, and this one is about 70-ish meters right here. So that's why we got this on here. This helps out. Now in the underbarrel section, I actually have on the DR6 hand stop. We're not really going to be using like a laser or a sling or something else like that. The DR6 hand stop, the XRK Edge, and I think it's the Attack MSP98 basically all do the same thing. This is one of those attachment categories where a lot of them do the same thing. So If you want to run this, if you want to run the XRK Edge, which is like one of the first ones up in the category, go for it. It's not going to do anything different. You can try and check this out for yourself, but they all have the exact same characteristics. They just look visually ever so slightly different. And lastly, on this gun, we're going to be using the high grain rounds, not to be confused with the high velocity rounds. We don't want that because that messes with our damage range. We need the high grains, which give us that bullet velocity and damage range. So go ahead and run these exclusively, as this makes this gun the most effective it can be, getting us out to about 70-ish meters, which is what you really want, ideally. So that being said, that is my full top 5. You guys enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe as notifications turned on, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.